Welcome back to the YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look and analysing the setup of two more YouTube channels. We're going to start off with Dan Fellow's Coffee and Cocktails, and then we're going to move on to MrBeast Reacts. Dan has commented on the last two episodes, and I took a look at his channel and I'm really excited to share my thoughts on it. And MrBeast Reacts takes a different approach to a YouTube setup. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So without any further ado, let's take a look at Dan's channel. And in his About section, it says if you love coffee, cocktails, either or both, this channel might be right for you. As a double world coffee in good spirits champion, I love to share what I've learned about coffee and cocktails, and how to bring the two together to create unique, exciting drinks. My niche. That is a great niche. So Dan is currently on 910 subscribers. I was actually your 900th subscriber. You're welcome. But I can almost guarantee that Dan's channel is going to absolutely explode in the next couple of months for a couple of different reasons. Firstly, his branding, his consistency, and his thumbnails are just on point. They make you want to click on the videos. Secondly, the production value of Dan's videos is just lovely. He's got a second camera angle which really helps break up that one static shot, something I should probably try and do. And the way he's using it, I don't know whether somebody's helping him film his videos or whether he's just very good at placing that camera in the right position, but it looks like somebody else is there helping him. And we've got really nice B-roll of everything that he's talking about in his videos. It almost looks like it could be on a show like BuzzFeed. The production quality is that nice. But there are a few little things which I think could just take you to that next level. So let's take a look at this shot. On the whole, I think it looks really good, really smart. I love how the window in the background is perfectly level. All of the lines are perfectly level. I'm a big fan of symmetry. So yeah, gold star for that. The lighting on the background I think is nice. It's nice and even. You can see in the bottles in the top right hand corner that there is quite a big light source lighting this whole scene up. The reflection off those bottles is telling me it's probably a big softbox or maybe a lantern to get that wide spread of light. I do like the bottles and the lights behind the bottles as well. I think it adds a little bit of warmth and interest into otherwise quite a sterile scene. The only thing I think you could improve with this shot is the lighting on Dan himself, and I'll tell you why. Firstly, we've got a very big shadow of Dan's shoulders, neck and head on the countertop. You can see that we've got some light spill on his shoulders that come just down over his chest a little bit, and you can see that we've got a little bit of light on the top of his head. What I'm going to assume is that Dan has added some kind of hair light, or he may be stood directly above a spotlight in his kitchen. But what that's doing is creating a lot of unnecessary shadow, and it's actually making Dan look a little bit underexposed. Not by much, but just a little bit. You can see that his shoulders are nice and bright, but as it comes down his chest and onto his stomach, it gets much darker. And if I knew a little bit more about the lighting setup, then I could give some better advice. But if it is a spotlight above your head, Dan, unscrew it, because it'll make the shot look better. And if it's an intentional look, I would move it off to one side instead of having it directly behind you. It's kind of up here, isn't it? Pointing down over your scene. It also looks like your key light is coming from side on. Yeah, it is, isn't it? I think what you might be doing is lighting up the kitchen and yourself with the same key light. This is clever because it means you only need the one light to light up your entire scene, but it also means that you're not lit optimally. If this were me, I'd try and get another light up to the right hand side of you at about a 45-degree angle, lighting up the right hand side of your face, and use the other light as your background light. I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say that you're shooting on a Sony camera, and I think we're probably at about a 24 or 30 millimeter focal length. I think that looks great. Don't change the angle, it's spot on. The only thing I've noticed is that when you're zooming in on what you're holding in your hands, it's not quite in focus 100% of the time. That's the reason why I think you're using a Sony, because the Sonys are so good at locking onto your eyes to focus that sometimes they're going to miss whatever's even a few inches away from your body. So I just say bring up the aperture, bring it to, I reckon you're currently shooting at f2 or f2.8. I just say bring it up to 3.5 and then everything's going to remain perfectly in focus. On the whole though, I love your videos, really entertaining, they look great. You don't have to change anything, you don't have to do anything that I've said. I just think they would elevate the production value just a tiny little bit more. If you're interested in taking a look at Dan's channel, there is a link in my video description. Right, let's move on to MrBeast Reacts. So like Mr. Who's the Boss before him and Casey Neistat after that, MrBeast needs absolutely no introduction whatsoever if you spend any kind of time on YouTube. He's just passed 100 million subscribers by making silly videos with his friends, and I love his channel. I watch every single video he posts. But we're not going to take a look at the main channel today, we're going to take a look at Beast Reacts, which is just essentially a reaction channel. And MrBeast is a prime example of why you don't need the flashiest camera or the best microphone to go out and start creating videos. Every video he posts is in 1080p. He's got cameras that shoot up to 8K resolution, but he still exports and uploads in 1080p. He doesn't want his videos to look too professional. He wants it to look like a group of mates is just going out and having fun making videos. For the longest time, I actually thought this was quite a badly done green screen for a couple of different reasons. Firstly, they're forever chopping each other out and putting them over different video, but it doesn't look like the camera's in the right position for the wall to look like that. The perspective seems off to me, and even the LED lights, they just don't look like they're actually there. But in a video he did with Mr. Who's the Boss that came out a couple of weeks ago, they actually show this room. So it does exist and it's not a green screen. I think it would be easier to do it on a green screen. So what's wrong with this shot? Firstly, the camera is just in a weird position. It's up to their left-hand side. It's pointing back down at them, which makes none of the vertical lines straight, and the lighting is super flat. They've probably just got one big softbox in front of them lighting up the entire scene. And that really flat look makes them look like they're not really there. But honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to MrBeast, and it doesn't matter to his audience. They're there for him and his personality and what he's showing people. I'd even go so far as to say that I think this has been shot on a webcam, but I don't think it has. It's either like a little handy cam recorder or a mirrorless camera. But the combination of the camera placement and the lighting just make it all look a bit strange. And if MrBeast didn't have his main channel with over 100 million subscribers that he's built up over years, and people have really come to love him and his presenting skills and the content that he puts out, I don't think this channel would be anywhere near as big as it is. We're going to touch on audio because we can see that they're both wearing lavalier microphones. And for a conventional YouTube setup, you wouldn't expect them to be wearing lavalier microphones because they're not going to be moving around too much. But as soon as you start going over a certain threshold with lavalier microphones, you can get really beautiful audio quality out of them. And this probably spills over from their other videos. They're like, it works over there, I'm sure it'll work over here. And it does mean that you can always hear exactly what each of them is saying. But like I said earlier, it all goes to show that you don't need the best equipment to go out and start making videos. What you need is a good idea. If you want me to rip your channel apart, please leave a link to it in the video description and I'll add it to my list. Thank you for watching, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you again very soon.